Welcome to DevKami number
Welcome.
211. And you might wonder why I'm holding my mic this way. As it turns out, I just changed the audio interface. So yeah, things get louder, but everything also get louder. So it's a mess. And also for some reason, it need to be in a distance because you can't hear me say anything here. So I need to bring it here, which is a bit sucky. So they said I'm streaming.
I am
Okay.
Tristan.
And of course we're chilling out downstairs. For some reason, he suddenly cannot talk.
What? No, you can't hear me. Can you
No.
hear
Oh,
me right now?
interesting.
Now we can,
I
yeah.
wonder. Yeah,
Okay.
now we can. So let's say let's
My
start.
my my Linux desktop is a bit flaky these days. Not really
Yeah,
happy with it.
those things are weird usually. Though I'm currently doing on my Linux machine now. The only weird thing for my current Linux machine is that
Every,
so I got an audio
everything is so
interface actually
slow
for my
right
guitar,
now.
but for my guitar to work. Yeah, I didn't feel that. Interestingly, I wonder why. So yeah, the only weird thing is I try to set up guitar rigs to plug my guitar to my Linux machine so that I can stream music to pretend that tend to be my rock star, and yeah, it didn't work out yet. I have a long story for that. Let's start with our event. We have nothing happening until next week, which is Hari Raya, by
Yeah.
the way.
But we had Rust meetup yesterday.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
We had a Rust meetup yesterday, so we won't have anything happening until next month, which will be Tuesday, I think.
Yeah, I think we have a
But we have Hari
new
Raya, so
organizer.
enjoy your holiday.
So let's see.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
I think Ruby Tuesday is the only
So, yeah, lah.
consistent event.
Yeah, correct. The whole thing is because I'm too lazy to run event anymore.
The event is because Tristan and the
So,
folks are very dedicated.
Mm.
yeah, we are lazy as hell. La la
No,
la.
but I think it's
What?
just a matter of like getting things started again, right? I'm sure
Yeah.
people will start them again. I think I've
Uh,
seen posts on project management, like agile project management,
yep,
wanting to start again.
correct.
I think
Yep,
JavaScript wants to start again a few things. So I think it's just a matter of time
yep,
before people
correct.
go back to the previous meetup, like every week meetup schedule.
Yeah, that'll be
Correct.
great.
And there is talk of having Barcamp KL, but I do not know what happened, right? Then okay, so next week is Hari Raya. It happens on a Saturday, then Sunday. As a result, we get a Monday off. So yeah, I had project on
No,
the go.
next weekend
So
is Hari Raya, is it? Or is that
next weekend, not this weekend. This weekend, there's a whole reason why. There's a short news about please use public transport this weekend. So the whole reason is the last weekend for people to shop for their stuff.
Okay? It's gonna be
So
crazy, just like
it's the
Chinese New
last
Year.
correct. So I'm a bit regret. Now I began to change my mind about going out, but I might have to just to get food and stuff. So, and also I need to get stuff for my travel to Korea because I only have 2 weeks to prepare, and that's a long story.
On the bats to
So let's
you.
say, yeah, it'll be fun. Well,
You
it'll
get
be
dragged
fun.
into North Korea. Watch out when you're
This
around the
can happen.
BMT.
Actually,
Mm.
the last time things like that happened is
Watch out for the
we
little
had
hands.
yeah. So the last time
The
that this
invisible
kind of
hands.
shenanigan happened, they got very weird shit with Japan. So that's an interesting one. But Korea will be interesting in the way that you got all sort of different cultures. People thought they're Chinese like they're not Chinese like they're not part of China
Okay, go
for the
grab
first
some.
place. They're just influenced by it. So yeah, let's talk about our news. We have it's a bit of slow news there, but let's see whether I can drag it. I have interesting thing happening as well. Let's see whether I do this. So short answer is this is actually a whole complaint about AWS Amplify. Do you know what is this?
I have no
No.
idea. Oh, Amplify. I have no idea what Amplify is.
Okay, Amplify is actually okay. So you have a thing called they had a framework called Next.js, right?
Yep.
Amplify is actually a way for you to run Next.js on AWS with AWS infrastructure. What happened is it only work. What it also provide is the ability to run backend. What do you mean? So Next.js have the ability for you to run backend. So in a way that you can run on Next.js as a pure front end thing. That's what we do in production. But they do have the ability to run things as a backend, meaning you will run. They'll prefer you to run things like serverless and all that. So the reason for that is there's certain operation that you cannot just do on front end alone. For example, cache invalidation. There's some server operation. So AWS provide a service for you to integrate with the backend service. So they just hide it, they abstract it very well. So the backend will run, of course, on a Lambda, and the front end will be just that long. They just host it. Then everything that you need to do previously, like say compile your code and upload it to cloud front, set up a DNS and all that. Those things is automated, mostly automated. That's the promise. And also there are some features that our product manager really like. We can have different version of the front end uh, created by pull request, so that things can be tested manually by pull request before being merged. There's caveat, of course. What the big caveat is, because for us, our backend is not on Amplify, so you can't do shit like that. But there's also another caveat. Our problem is there's no way for us to integrate with existing database, meaning this thing only works well if you do everything from scratch. But even that, there's more caveat really.
And
One of
when
the thing,
everything is AWS.
no, it's a bit worse. They do not work well with say DynamoDB. To talk to database, you need to create you need to create a GraphQL endpoint that runs on a Lambda. A GraphQL endpoint, but the GraphQL doesn't
That's
understand
that is
DynamoDB
that
or
sounds
any
like
database.
that sounds like wet
Huh?
dream for the tools that don't want to learn SQL.
Correct, right? So actually, it's a bit worse because okay, there's DynamoDB, so those things are no SQL. It's supposed to be just like it just works, right? But no, uh, unfortunately, we also do that PostgreSQL. So they also suggest that okay, you need to do this, create a. You need to map your stuff into a GraphQL, but GraphQL does not talk directly to your database, so you need to create a Lambda. It get really stupid really really fast. Okay, so it does not work well with existing application. For us, another reason for that is none of the Lambda can talk directly to our service because they have no option to add security group, link security group, which is really stupid, but it is what it is. So for people that really want to do financial audit, is awesome. You do not need to think. Okay, you do not need to think anything. If you only limit yourself to the Next.js ecosystem and AWS ecosystem, because they actually give you things like things that you want to deal with, like Cognito and all the stuff. Okay. Uh, so yeah, it's not that. It's a bit of a mess, to be honest. And also, I don't agree with how DynamoDB, they had a lot of stuff being bucketed, but they also have a cost. So uh, an index query cost and a scan cost differently, right? And they will limit you, I believe. So yeah, they claim that, but so you just so if you do it like a normal program without carrying an ON, your DynamoDB will get very expensive. But this is not the point of the article. The point of the article is Amplify have a lot of caveat. That's the point of this article, right? You can get a lot of little problem go wrong. So yes.
And it will translate to
So yeah,
being really expensive really fast.
correct, correct. So yes, so Amplify is one of those until they do some work. It's one of those things that only sound good in theory, not necessarily in practice. Only if you work in front end, then you get a lot of benefit. But it does save time when you don't care about things like uh, you like for example previously I say right we had to build like crowd find all that is really annoying, so you don't have to deal with that anymore. And also they have very good integration with GitHub, so they just do the CI for you for free. Okay, so yeah, there is a lot of convenience, and the cost is okay. It's just the integration is horrible, and they charge you a lot on integration. So yeah, anything to add about this? Do you have experience for something similar?
Well, what
Yeah,
we're using right
and
now, it's
finally,
purely client-side
mm-hmm.
application that we're deploying on
Yep,
Cloudflare pages, similar
yep,
to Netlify. So it has the same thing: GitHub integration, CI,
correct.
automatic tests. Even well, you can use
Yeah,
GitHub Actions if you want more. So there's a lot of
yep,
if you're at that scale, like really small scale, you can go buy with the free tiers. It's fine.
yep,
But so I'm not really sure what. I guess it's the hosting of the server backend. But I think
yep,
services like Vercel or Netlify are already doing that as well for free, right? At least you have a free tier, and then
correct.
uh, well, it's not like you can host a Django or a Rails application there. So it's really more for like JavaScript applications. So I don't know. Maybe as what this article is pointing out that you need a lot of well, at least Amplify needs to fix a lot of its uh, like charging or like its revenue model, because otherwise like there are many services out there that are as good that
Yep,
uh, that developers would rather go of course
correct,
if you're held hostage by the AWS ecosystem, then of course you can do a lot of things,
correct,
but
correct.
there are many
And
others that do the same thing.
correct. If you use Vercel and Cloudflare, what I believe is that people there's such thing called Planet Scale database. Planet Scale will actually provide database. Planet Scale. Yeah. So they provide. So this one they actually provide services. I believe they actually allow you to put the database on Vercel. So they have this kind of thing. Uh, so you don't have to deal with it. At least there is ways for that, but not so much on AWS, which have everything they don't integrate as well. So yeah, if you can afford it, if you think it's useful, you should use it. But just know that this kind of thing caveat, don't let marketing dictate how you choose a technology. With that said, shall we move on?
Mhm.
Okay, this one is nothing, just that if you're on Apple Silicon, now you get to use your Linux VM and macOS VM for CI or other automation. I do not know how this works. Maybe they do have a Apple machine for them to run CI. So yeah, it's an option. If you like it, you use it. If not, I'm going to quickly move on.
Yep.
So this one, decentralized LLM. So this is actually one of the hotter. This is as hot as talking about OpenAI in a way. So now you got an awesome list for this. So this is all about how do you run LLM, a large language model, locally, quote unquote. It doesn't actually mean you can run it locally, but you need a fat machine. What tend to happen is you do something like Hugging Face. You run this on Hugging Face, which have big machine, then you pay for it. Because in practice, this kind of thing is pretty fat. Okay. Yeah, not fat shaming machine learning AI system, but yeah. But this is also catch a lot of attention because people want option beyond OpenAI actually. So they can do more stuff. So
they want
uh,
Yeah.
they want more options, or they want like cheaper options.
more options tend to be cheaper, but no.
Uh,
This kind of thing.
Often it's cheaper
Yep.
Mhm.
But I cannot
if
guarantee
it's,
that to be honest.
and also it's the worries about vendor lock-in.
Correct.
Mhm.
We're gonna give too much power to a platform or
Correct.
company.
Correct.
But
in
the
practice,
main concern is always cheaper, I would say.
Yeah,
yeah,
I
correct,
think it's that's the thing. Not
correct.
yeah.
A lot of this idea is so that well, if you can run it on your computer, you did invest on it, you might as well use it. But in practice, a lot of this machine cannot run large language models. So, which is why in practice you use things like Hugging Face hosting to actually do your stuff. Lor. So you build your stuff. I do not know how. I try to figure how this work. To be honest, I know they can host models and build spaces. Spaces is their way of a local application similar to Replit. I wonder if I can see. I can show you. I can show you examples. La 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 la. Project Blaze. So on Hugging Face, you have the ability for you to build an app. For example, chatbot. This is a chatbot API with settings. So this is Llama model, one of the models here, right? Control F, Llama, oh, Llama. So you see here, in practice, you're probably going to build a chat model on Llama for this lah. But option is awesome. Having option is awesome actually. So yeah, more of
We
these
have an
around.
instance of Llama running in the development server.
Right, nice.
It's
But one of
you
the things
really
that,
to
huh,
the thing is
go
that
on,
yeah,
it's not that good.
no, it's not bad.
Okay, it's not
It's
bad,
just
right?
that you need to wake it up a bit.
Right. So one of the thing that I believe people overhype is the idea of AGI. This is a language model, and that
Mm.
can do interesting stuff, and you can
What's
write
what's
code.
AGI?
Uh, uh, Artificial General Intelligence.
Ab- ab-
Mm,
So
abominable.
human, robot in traditional sense, human colors in Full Metal Alchemist.
mm. Okay, I thought it was like AGI, and then you have DEX and INT,
No. The whole idea
STR.
here is
You know.
the whole idea here is this
LUK would be my favorite.
Mm,
will be the seed of intelligent system that will do stuff for you, right? It can possibly can do that, but you need some programming to do this. I won't go so far and call it like AGI, but I would call
But I
them
would say
that can be agent.
it's a
Easily
step
useful.
for a part. I mean, a language passing instead of a big step
Correct,
instead
correct,
of that. But it's not
correct,
it's not even close to AGI. It doesn't learn on its own.
correct. So, but here's another reason why people want to have a local version of the models is because sometimes some of the approach of building artificial this agent is what we call the multi-agent system approach. I do not know whether to call it that. Multi-agent system is actually a very old architecture in AI. It's actually from Marvin Minsky, one of the again AI researcher in those days. What he suspect that one way to actually augment intelligent system is to have okay. So at that time, at the moment, they actually have good but limited intelligence system. One expert system only good for his case at that time is expert system. One expert system for one domain and all that. So what if you query multiple domains and consolidate answer, and you get something that is intelligent, so to say. It's called multi-agent system. This is actually one approach that a few people are doing it. Essentially having multiple language model that special different things to do their stuff. And to do that with OpenAI, it get really expensive really fast. So having a localized model would help,
yeah. So
right?
yeah, and it's not really about having more options, like having cheaper options. Again,
Correct.
it boils down to cost.
Yes. So and
Although
also,
I don't know if it's really
huh?
cheaper because it's not the same power, right? You have to use electricity. You have to buy your own hardware.
Correct.
So
Correct.
maybe it's
Well,
just reusing whatever you have already, and then maybe playing games or
correct.
mining cryptocurrency afterwards.
Correct.
Mm.
What I worry, okay, one thing I would worry is that people overhype this like crypto. So that's one. It can easily go there. Whereas this one have some use, but people forgot about them because this happened one time before.
Yeah,
In
why can't they do it like
1990s.
crypto? like where, yeah, the more nodes you have in an AI, like more neurons, right? The more intelligent it is. So
Uh,
why don't you
no,
reward joining the network with like
I
so
don't
you
know.
mine cryptocurrency and you be also become like a host for an AI neuron, and you do some
I
AI
don't know.
uh, learning as well.
Okay, so here's what I suspect is happening. A neural network is there. Okay, so what I suspect is happening is that when they train a neural network, large language model, for example, even though they have multiple GPU, it's abstracted as one thing. Probably something they can control. I do not. What I do not know
But
suspect. I do not know
yeah,
whether this can be translated uh, into people with different computer, different thing, and different stuff.
but
I do not
isn't
know.
this is what's happening with the like the prime factor? Sorry, the prime hunt, right? I forgot
Ah,
which service.
correct, correct,
Prime
correct.
hunt. Then
So
there's
here
also
comes the conclusion.
the other one, the SETI at home. You have those as
Okay,
well.
distributed computing for those kind of system works because they have a one discrete operation, meaning you can have part of the operate it can part of the small operation that can be done on one machine can be passed to another and all that, right? I believe this is the case. Neural network, when you do inference, trainer inference is two different things. Inference, even though you would may imagine that here each computer just run one neuron, right? Yeah, not quite, because uh, once you build a neural network, nobody is sure that how do you split a network up? How do you split a network up into different area to run by different machine? Okay. When you run a neural network, you run it as one operation. You treat it as one black box. It's it's not the same black box that you can do that. So people, as a result, people just do one thing one way. But another way to think about it, say, is maybe different computers will have their own neural network and they serve people, right? Are you talking about that, or are you talking about splitting up the neural network into discrete operation for
No,
different
it's
computer?
where it's because you can already train a neural network. I mean, it's a network, right? It's just a matter of like whether it's all local or it's where distributed.
Distributed training is supported in some libraries, but
Yeah.
inference is a different thing. There's no distributed
Yeah.
inference.
So some if you have it already as a network, then why don't you incentivize people to join the
Because
network by like giving them a
it's
reward or
not that kind of
something?
network. It's more of a data structure type of network than
Yeah.
computer
So
as well.
just combining, I mean, you they were able to add a data structure in a cryptocurrency mining thing, right? By like that's
Yeah,
the reverse basically. So you can add some sort of incentive by joining it. I'm sure people have been thinking about it, but I guess we're just not hearing about it. Maybe it's
yeah,
I don't know what
yeah,
is it that is preventing it from being successful. Like people join SETI at home or like this Prime Hunt or whatever distributed
yeah.
network computing projects for free, um, and seems to be
But
like performing well.
yeah,
But I guess
but prime numbers have discrete operation. Essentially, they just take the number and test it out, and you just take one number and divide it and try to find. Oh my goodness, my network is dead. My network is dead just now. Crap. Okay, so for prime testing, what they do is actually what you call a sieve of Aristotelians. You test the number whether it's divisible. Okay. Uh, Divisibility testing is very easy. Take one number, divide. You've got remainder, get it out. Uh, it's simple enough for one computer to do. As a result, you can distribute it out, then combine it on the ledger. Neural network, a bit more weirder because yeah, in theory you would. Nobody.
I
I
mean,
do not
you
think
already
nobody
have
have a
it
problem.
multiple nodes. It doesn't
No, no,
matter
it's not
whether
even
they're in
nodes.
the same
Yeah,
LAN or on the same on a, like across continents through a network, right?
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I can't imagine why. Just that what I do suspect is the abstraction. Is the abstraction not there? That's about it. Probably just that, right? So I don't know, to be honest. So yeah, I probably, but I have doubt because it's obvious as in part of network speed up. Those are those things are clear, but why it's not speedable, I do not know, to be honest. So yeah. So either way, this may be interesting, but I kind of worry that people overhype stuff too much. So yeah, let's see how it goes. I'm going to move on. So this is the origin of database sharding. So the term sharding, so yeah, it's just an origin story really. Then it's actually implemented they use a game analogy to build their stuff and all that lah. So yeah, this from a
Is
game
this
manufacturer.
Ultima
Uh-huh.
Online?
Yeah, correct. So the author is actually uh, okay. So the author actually do games as a game engineer. So what happened is they adopt game analogy as game analogy they got different structure crystals and all that. So that actually applies it to architecture that he used. So he used a shard to apply a parallel server cluster than physical mesh server. So yeah, sharding is really from a game analogy which the author applies to his architecture document.
It's a concept that we these days is with like microservices and things that is something we take for granted.
Correct, correct,
It's a big departure of from how we do things previously, which was in order to
correct,
scale. Often we scale the whole copy of things. We have
correct,
we replicate the whole instance. Sharding is that we
correct.
decide to take certain features apart and
Yep,
scale them elsewhere.
precisely. So yeah, so this is just an origin story of name. So I'm going to move on. This one. Yes, okay. I don't have JavaScript. I'm going to tell you multiple times, but if you're going to
What is
do
this?
proper programming, please learn your algorithm, and this is the example for algorithms. Uh, First thing is, I don't know why they had to fix the M1 notebook.
Okay.
There is generally no reason for it. Image processing.
The algorithms and data structure class I'm gonna get is gonna be in JavaScript.
Ugh,
Yeah.
ugh.
Well, it used to be in Java, so now it's in JavaScript,
It's yeah.
right? So I
I
mean,
would say it's
they're
a low barrier of
Says that.
entry, for people, especially
Mhm.
for people that have no prior experience. So, to instead of setting up
Correct.
interpreted the right versions or to
Yeah,
play
and then
to struggle with the compiler.
yeah, should you use PyEnv or virtualenv or something? Like there's just one
Yeah,
JavaScript,
Which
right?
version is the right version?
Yeah.
yeah, but I won't implement vertices this way. To be honest, I mean this is the
Fine.
naive implementation for a flight washer. You use a two-dimensional number yeah, that is actually a very horrible way for you to build this. Use a bloody object. But either way, if you have to learn,
It's
you have to
fine.
learn
Well, in
JavaScript, please learn
JavaScript, an array is well, it's not an
object
object,
and
but
all that. Yeah, but there is better data structure for you to represent this kind of thing. But either way, if you're going to learn the programming in JavaScript, please learn the algorithm is a resource. It's not the worst thing on the planet. I just don't agree with it, but it's not the worst thing around.
It's not
See, this
bad.
is a proper way for you to implement vertices and all that. So
At least I'm not sure about this. Is at least you can copy and then paste it in the console and you can have it run.
yeah. So yep, learn the
And
algorithm.
everyone has a browser.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So either way, this is sim carving. Interesting. So yep, I think the implementation is okay. I don't agree with some code, but I think it's okay. So it can work. I just don't like JavaScript. That's all. So I think the implementation is okay, and you get to learn something lah. So anything to add? If not, I'm going to move on.
No.
Okay. One last thing is, this is precisely what you learn in a computer science class, right? This is what you're going to learn, and it's worth it. So if you're not from a computer science background and you think your algorithm a bit sucks, learn this. It helps you to understand stuff. You won't be using this. You won't be implement this in your day-to-day job. There's library for that, but at least you have a sense of how things work and why you should and should not use it. So that's the whole point of your algorithm actually. So I'm going to move on. PostgreSQL logical replication gotchas. So sometimes when you do things, you would try to replicate to a replica for things to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's gotcha, as you can get, as you can know here. So uh, sometime when things are not replicated, the point is there will cases where things are not replicated fully. So you need to understand this. Yeah, sometimes you just have to do it because, for example, sometimes you should have a read replica in some scenario so they don't hit the database all the time. It helps. So it can distribute the load a bit, but just know that sometimes replication doesn't work, doesn't translate. So you need to understand the behavior for your
We,
database.
we do that.
Which
We
goes
do that
to
from time to
uh-huh,
time. We have a read. Often, the one we optimize is that we have a read-only instance.
correct. So actually, this is actually a comment on database. Database as a technology is a all-encompassing technology. You have to learn the operation. You have to learn caveat. It's one of those weird things. So I understand why people hate it, but unfortunately, even you use DynamoDB, you face the same issue, except that they hide it from you, right? They hide it from you to make life easy. And some of the modern database handle this for you automatically. So yeah, but either way, learn some of this. It helps you. It helps in your work lah. So anything to add about this? If not, I'm gonna move on.
Nope.
Yep. Of course, they try to sell you a service, but you do not need to use the service. A lot of these things, they're just here to actually. Database technology is also very open in a way that you can just do it manually if you need to. A lot of these tools are just there to make your life easy. So Dolly OpenLM. So this is actually from Databricks. This is actually a very old article. I probably have shared this already. Uh, License for research and commercial use. So this is a reason they want in this one they actually want the model that they can control because it's Databricks, right? So
Mm-hmm.
OpenAI in their case, you actually submit data to them. Not everyone likes them. Databricks, their business is to do data processing for their customer. So if they can run this on their customer on-prem, it's good for them, right? So these are those cases where they actually they have a very good case where having a third part having their own language model lah. So because when you subscribe to their service, they already have the agreement and all that to guarantee security or privacy or whatever they need for business. So yeah, of course, there's caveat. All language model have caveat right now. So anything to add? If not, I'm gonna move on.
No.
Okay.
We have
Uh-huh.
like chat asking, um I don't know. The article
Oh
uses
yeah,
V10, which is I'm not sure what
yeah.
V10 is. Maybe you will
I don't
understand
know
it better.
actually. I don't know. It probably would because it depends because AWS sometimes have things that compatible with each other. They do not always throw things off immediately, but something they just do. For example, uh, they actually do a big change for what the thing again, VPC or EC2 instance require VPC. So there's a big change. So they did that all the time, but I don't know actually. It could be right. All this for Postgres. I think it should be fine. The database part don't change a lot. They do not change that much on AWS actually. Because what I believe Postgres does on RDS is that they actually limit to the database version that they installed. If the one that is duplicated, then you're on your own on that kind of thing. You just can't spin new instance. But they also encourage you to upgrade, so I think it should applicable because those technology are very stable. When database upgrade, the changes should be fine. They don't change that often. So I'm gonna move on. So there's a lot of LLM thing happening. I'm just gonna open it up. Then I'm going to show something that I do for work recently. So this is another reason why people care about doing LLM locally. This is about tuning to your own data source. In situation where because OpenAI's own API platform, the OpenAI. Give me a while. Here. So OpenAI own API is very task based. So that you can complete text, you can do embeddings. Then you can fine tune occasional only on the thing you care about. Whereas sometimes you want to do a bit more. For example, sometimes it's not completion. You really want things to be question and answer. That's one thing you can do. Or you have generating text. This is not auto completion task. Also search, understanding. So all these kind of things are not something that is within OpenAI task itself, right? So yeah, you have a lot of stuff and all that. Sometimes they don't do what you do. So this is a reason why you need to train. This is one reason why people want to have a local language model, and this is one of the tool that you can use to train your stuff. Have playground tests of things and all that. I mean, in practice, you're going to put it on Hugging Face anyway, but yeah, you have options lah, or Colab. So these are those tools. I'm going to move on to this. So this is another one. This one is what they claim here is that with agents that I show you just now, language models, you can actually replace developer. You just talk to this system. There's actually a
And
demo here.
I think the problem is like you
Uh-huh.
have to write the specs, basically your documentation, right?
Correct,
But
correct, correct, correct.
a lot of the well product owners or whatever they call them right now,
Yeah,
they suck at writing specifications. So
correct.
often it's the developers that actually
They
need to
have no idea
interview.
what's going on.
Yeah,
Correct.
exactly. So the developers are the ones who actually, at least the good ones, they possess the skills to interview what exactly do you want and then just write code
Yeah,
as actual specifications.
correct.
So I don't know about the replacing developers here,
Yeah,
but the important thing here is to be clear of what you actually want, right?
correct.
It starts from
So
there, and if we can't even get
yeah.
to there, then even these AI tools would have a big problem figuring out what you want.
So which is actually lead to the point earlier on about height. Again, they claim a lot of stuff. Okay, they claim a lot of stuff. They claim that you do not need, you would just need to talk and you generate the right code. I did not get enough of those yet. They claim that you can generate enough code for you to build an application and integrate it. In this case, the claim here is you generate code, deploy it, and run the whole thing on a VM. So that's one of the things they claim. And they generate JavaScript code, and yeah. So this is again one of the things they claim. How well it work, I do not know yet. Does it work? Uh, I okay. At least it's so early on. Nobody actually built a business out of this yet, so I do not know how well it worked in their own world. But again, it's a claim. So yeah, one thing is interesting to see is there's a lot of this claim how well it works, nobody knows. I just want to say that, right?
But
So
I
again,
don't mind. I don't want it automate away some of the menial
yeah,
boilerplates that we have to do.
I don't know if this is the case. So Playground is one of those tools for you to develop language model locally. I doubt you can run this on your own laptop because you need a pretty fat machine. I have doubt, but yeah, this one works for Llama, that's CPU Llama. So yeah, this works. So option is there. So as I say, language model you need get very interesting. So yeah, then this is actually a plugin. These are example plugin for you to work with OpenAI API. This is released by OpenAI itself. So you can use this to check your code and all that. Very interesting stuff. This is the more real use case, to be honest. Retrieving documents, understanding these, direct people to chat. If the claim works well enough, probably direct people to chat to the right department. I don't know actually, but yeah, this is one of those probably useful stuff.
Oh, it's
Uh,
like the Air Asia chat app. What that doesn't
Correct,
actually
but
do
that
well.
that is horrible. People just stop using those kind of thing, right?
I have no idea what happened to the AAC chat app. What happens?
Well, because it
It
was
shut it
horrible.
down.
People just were not happy. So
Yeah, people are not happy about this because they're too early. They're not the base um, model is not there for the first place, and they're not investing enough. They just have the word AI and put in marketing and sell it in. It's like this quote from Jurassic Park. Let me find it. Uh,
life finds a way. I don't know whether
no.
whether life
So
finds a way is.
is it got something? Okay, I'll paraphrase. You guys do not know. So Malcolm was telling Heaven, he said that your scientists don't know what is happening. You just learn something. Then what you do next is to slap a brand stickers on it and set it off as quick as possible. This is precisely what is happening with language model right now. You learn a basic thing, you add a bit of your stuff, you slap a label and set it off as quick as you can. So, so in a way that the current AI phase is like Jurassic Park, in a way that people do not understand what it is, that sell stuff they don't understand right now. But unlike Jurassic Park, they're not the robot do not kill you yet. So that's the difference between this and Jurassic Park, right? But Jurassic Park is a very good analogy about the current AI system because people they essentially just build something they don't understand and sell it. Then in the first Jurassic Park, the new after the trilogy, the new one with Chris Pratt, they have that. So it's like people ask him, so he built a deadliest dinosaur. Then it's like, yeah, you're asking for scarier, bitier dinosaur, right? So you don't understand what they want. The point is people don't understand what they want, but yeah, my original quote, Jurassic Park, the original novel, actually make a lot of sense actually. Except as I say, the Velociraptor, there's no AI version of Velociraptor coming to kill you yet. So that's that. I wonder if I can find a quote. I'm going to move on quickly to the
Mm-hmm.
next one. Uh, Last one. Okay, this Grounding Dino is about my work. I'm going to talk about my SQL Explain. I just discovered that I know my SQL have explained. I didn't realize that they have explain analyze. That's on me. So this is telling you how do you read this. It's very cool. So in a way that is very similar to Postgres, this one explains to you how it works. It doesn't work on stored procedure. It doesn't tell you optimization. MySQL does. It's interesting. It's estimates and not inaccurate, and there is warning. So yeah, learn your tools. If you use MySQL, use these tools. Anything to add? If not, I'm gonna move on.
No.
Okay, so I man, I hate it when I don't have enough hand. Let me see whether I can put it here first. I doubt it because the mic really need to be in front of me. La la la.
Just speak louder, then we'll hear it.
Okay, so now
Well, then don't cover the mic with your hand.
Right. So,
Yeah.
uh, okay, so this is the ground. Okay, so there is two stories from last week. Uh, segment anything. I talked about this last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
So segment anything is a model. Is a model about. It's a way for you to segment your object. Very useful for. Very useful for data labeling. I know it's actually a bit ironic. If you can segment anything, why do you need data labeling? Because in computer vision is also understanding object, and this thing does not know how to understand object. They just know that this thing had a boundary. Notice that they do not split the frog properly. So for example, they do not have the right context all the time, but it's still very useful, right? We actually using that in my work in Super. In our We actually try to integrate this. So the reason is, even though that there be time that I want to split between frog and snail, it's still very useful. So this allows us to edit some of the work so that something is already labeled and all that. So this is the models that is available right now. We try to integrate it. It's not easy, by the way, even though there is a whole source code for it. One problem, I'm going to say this to make people angry. Data scientists do not know how to make libraries. Okay, data scientists do not know how to make libraries.
They're
So that
they're not software developers. They're data scientists. So that's
yeah, they're focused on
I
the
think
output,
that's.
and the
Mm.
output works. It's just that there's opportunities for them, for people to actually uh, package the software for things to work. So I spend time on it. So either way, let's talk about the big idea first. So this is called image segmentation. This helps us to do data labeling, but there's also another use. So I want you to imagine you had AR glasses, okay, AR glasses. Sometimes you may not want to see the thing that's segmented, but you should have an idea what is being segmented in front of you. Okay, so for example, so currently as of now, you take a phone to do translation. You have to activate it, then they have to detect text and all that, right? So when you look at it, around to do automated detection of object in front of you, so what you can do is you can attempt to segment different objects in front of you. So let's say in front of you there is a sign that's segmented, right? In your default setting, you say that I only understand English, and that is Korean. So when you look through it, there's one of many AI systems will already have the right segmented object and overlay the a word for you automatically, for example, because you segmented the object to know that this is the object to be translated, for example. So this is actually very useful for AR use and VR use, AR mostly, or self-driving cars and all that. But for now, in my work, we only use it for image segmentation, which lead to another thing. So this research group do one thing extra on top of this. This is called grounding dino. It has some integration with segment anything. So this is one. I did not have the notebook with me, but again, so they use the same model, then add it on top of stuff, then they can use it to detect dog. Okay. So again, then they can detect chair, right? So let me find the notebook. There's actually, I wonder if they have one in Hugging Face. Give me a moment. Hugging Face, grounded, grounded segment. Okay, here you are. Cool. So, okay, I have a very cool one, but I have a very cool one. Let me upload something that is safe for work. Just kidding. DevKami will only share things that is safe for work. until I complain about the companies. La 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 la. Okay, here you are. No. Did I? Okay, here you are. Upload image. It could take a while. Let's detect. So
Trash
why
pandas.
okay, trash
Mm.
pandas. Okay, cool. And okay, right. So trash panda is not a basic object, but there's an open set, so you can do that and detect that. But if you use raccoon, it probably work because there is a data set. So it take a while, but this actually shows that this actually shows two contribution.
Is it
One,
running?
it's running. It take time because it's not free. Uh, so you can actually let me find a notebook. The notebook is better. Is there a notebook? Notebook. Okay. You're running a notebook. Grounded segment anything? No. Segment demo notebook. Okay. So this notebook it take time. Let's ready to run. Yeah, machine learning model is actually very slow. Do not run this live. Never run this live. Okay, never run this live because put it on the queue. Generate result after this. Uh, so why this is very cool because this kind of thing have a thing called zero shot learning, meaning look at this image, right? That when you query for bench, they'll detect a bench here. When they detect lion, they will detect all the lion. It's not perfect. It's not perfect because they detect ears and all that, right? Then with things you can detect this. Lion is a common object. Person also object, but World Cup is not a common object. So with the language model that they claim, they actually can find uncommon object. Uncommon object that is not trained before, which is actually very good. So, but here's a catch: it's not, it's not, it's not perfect yet as of now, because which is a bit irony because I had a job, but with this work, not yet. It cannot. So it helps. It helps detect basic object that we care about, but you cannot use this for everything. It do an initial training and that's it. Okay. So for now, my job is safe for now. Uh, and also this, as of now, these tools are what we call assisting us. They do not take over my job yet, and it only works well if you describe things basic. For example, circle thing on the left. Then once you do that, then this thing like label circle thing on the left, and you know that this thing is I want to label as a dog, for example, right? A ball or something like that. So yeah, this is what is happening recently, and this is actually what we're doing in our day job, using this kind of tools as assisting us for data labeling. I might have crashed it actually. Let's see how it goes. It might fail.
I think it won't
Oh,
work for Trash Panda. Sorry.
correct. So let me search for other thing. Let's see. Let let me find something that is. I know something that won't work actually, but I need to find it out. Here you are. No. Sure. About 16. No. 8. No. Not 8. 4. No. 3. No. Was it November? I have a very cool bird photo that I lost somewhere.
Mm. Is it the one with the bow tie?
No, 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 no. Was it October? Okay, last chance. I actually use this for work. I lost it. I forget it. Uh, 20030104. Here you are. Okay, just do something basic for now, Bird. I'll run. Oh, by the way, Hugging Face is a way for you to run your model this way, cheaply. Apparently, it works fast enough for some. Uh, so either way, as of now, for basic object like birds and all that, that's given. But things like that is not so well known, for example, Gui, uh, you cannot use prompt-based search. And let's say you want to search for nasi lemak, same thing. They do not understand what it is. But segment anything is not an object-based model, right? So in this case, there is no object for snail. I try to find something cool actually. You know what? I'm going to upload the same thing. I might upload the same thing.
What
Uh,
happened to your bird?
I'm going to run. Give me a while. Give me a while.
Did you change the
Profile.
tab? I think because the bird was like a 47 seconds and then you
Yeah, I changed
were
tab. But I want to
almost done.
upload some.
Ah,
I want to upload the right bird.
okay.
Zero, 01. This is 0103, right? 04. 01, 04. Dark table. Okay, this one. Okay, take time. So let it run. Okay, now it works. When I do the initial demo in my work, it does not work well. So for basic object like this, it will work. But if you do things like, let's say, bee eater. This is a bee eater, right? Bee eater. They may not be as clear. It will probably work because bee eater was actually part of the corpus, right? Part of the corpus. Uh,
Yeah, so it has a progress bar. Well, not a bar, but a progress indicator. It says
correct,
15
correct.
out of 45 seconds. So after 45 seconds, it's
Estimation,
probably
yeah,
going to be
correct,
done.
correct. Not it will go more than that. It will go definitely more than that. So this kind of system is interesting because again, it can do initial work for data labeling, but it can okay. It seems magical that it can detect anything, but this thing are not fast. This thing they do not have all the knowledge in the world. Okay, they do not have all the knowledge in the world, but it can help for detecting stuff that you never know about, right? So let's start with segment anything. Uh, so da, da, so I go here. I go here. So they can detect birds. They have an idea what is a bird and stuff, but they're over thing. But one thing is, segment anything do not have idea what is a bird. Okay, they only know that this is an object because there is a boundary that's clear. So for example, I do this. This is not what we want. They mix things up together. So, but it's still helpful because now we have two different objects sometimes, right? So let's remove area. Let's reset. Let's reset again. Now I'm gonna add mask. That. So for example, it doesn't work as well here, but it detect the difference between object, right? Then you have the magic mode, which essentially just create a point and do the magic. So they detect various points that do all stuff. Again, then they know how to differentiate object. Sometimes they do not know that this is one object, but they differentiate it. So in theory, it can help clean things up so that you can use this for whatever you need to do. So yeah. Okay, bee eater is detected because they detect this because bee eater is a bird. So, but let's say trash panda probably won't work, or you want to label this as pest or whatever. So it depends. uh, the point is, as of now, these models, these models can be good for general object. For special object, maybe not, maybe don't work as well. And if you segment anything, for example, they overdo their segmentation, which is not what we care about, but it helps to do the basic work. But grounded segmenting more interesting because for basic object you know, but I can't think of any very basic stuff. Cancer, probably cancer would work. I do not. So yeah, this is interesting for me because it looks like it will replace my job, but on the other hand, it does not. The current system do not know everything, right? They do not know everything. As a result, you can use that as an assistant, maybe clean up some mistake and whatnot. So yeah, this is what I'm doing right now. And this 11. I have another story to tell you. Last one. Last one. Uh, Last one. So one thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use Onyx or ONNX to actually deploy it on the front end. It does not work at all, to be honest. It's too slow. So either way, it's a cool adventure, but we're going to integrate it in our product soon. How well it works, I have no idea, but it is what it is. So any question before we go on?
No.
Yeah. So yeah lor. Oh, and final one.
Final.
LinkedIn. Do I link it? Yes, I have LinkedIn. But let me go link in CVAC. CVAC. So CVAC is an open source. It's an open source data labeling. So they already do what we do actually. So they integrate segment anything into the application now, so that you can do your stuff. The only thing is the differentiation that we have is that we have the people lah, in short. So yeah, that's about it. It's a hot thing for a very narrow area in AI. So, which is why it's interesting for me. So yeah. So with that said, next week is Hari Raya. So we still have something on mind. Let's see how it goes. Then yeah, I think that's about it. So thanks for listening. I should end the broadcast now, I hope.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, and thanks
Bye.
guys.
See you next week.